What's going on, everybody? If you like NFL best ball, fantasy football, you are in the right place. I am a 3-time best ball champion, punched 2 teams into the Best Ball Mania finals last year, and we're looking to repeat that task. We're at the 102 here. Tough to see Chase go. Don't think we've done a Saquon team this year, so let's get it going. DraftKings rankings are now live at beatbestball.com as well for the paid subs. Again, rankings are $100 a year. Gets you all the sites. I will have drafters rankings later this week. There are some terrible ADPs out there. Gonna have a ranking update as well, either later today or tomorrow. I mean, there's some really bad ADPs out there. Want to update 1 or 2 of my ADPs. This is, I think, my 13th draft. Made sure to get 10 in on opening day. Did a couple on DraftKings as well. What's up? Become a YouTube member like Who Hames? What's up? Where do I have Najee ranked? I think I have him ranked appropriately. One of the worst ADPs right now, obviously. 1 win from your BBM draft so far. How about 25% Jamar Chase? Ran pretty cold on the 101s in pre-draft, so feels good to get that. What's up, Dry? What's up, Scott? Hell yeah, Patrick. Make sure to like and subscribe to the videos, folks. All that helps. We're on the road to 7K subscribers. Very slow road, but we're on it. DraftKings Best Ball. We'll be doing some of those. It is $2 million to first. Quite top heavy, of course. It's a bigger final than Best Ball Mania. So if you could choose one site to get a final team, you would obviously choose Best Ball Mania, competing with half the people. But I think it's awesome. We have 2 best ball contests for $20 or $25 that offer $2 million to first. Insane. Yeah, no time to fix the hair. Only time for drafting, Brother John. I know you focus on week 17. Do you also consider week 15 and 16 potential builds? You know, Alberto, I personally consider any week 15 or 16 stacking a happy accident, right? When you think about it, you have to beat 13 people, 16 people, and then 539 people. So, no, I am not trying to optimize for week 15 or 16. I'm naturally going to get some week 15 and week 16 stacking. Other people do like to do that. That's just not me, though. I just pretty much keep it focused on week 17 when I am game stacking. Going running back with Saquon and Bucky. It gets tough. Okay, look at this. We got a Chase, Allen, Lamar team. Gets tough at wide receiver. Tyreek Hill, man. I mean, Tyreek Hill on Drafters, by the way, total points website, goes at the 3-4 turn. I don't know what's going on there. I just feel forced to take some of him. I understand you feel a little uneasy with it, but he's not as safe as someone like Marvin Harrison. He's not as safe as someone like JSN, but his upside is much bigger. Did the ADP update? It definitely updated a bit. RJ Harvey, for example, we're getting at an ADP of 74 now. And honestly, like my first run of ADP, I didn't put the play, someone like RJ Harvey, I didn't put exactly at the ranking that I thought he should go at. So I put him at rank 80 because really day one, what you should be trying to do is not take a player where they're going to go, which a lot of people don't understand. People are taking RJ Harvey in the 50s, in the high 60s. That's where he's going to settle. The aim of these early contests is not who can draft RJ Harvey the highest, which a lot of people don't understand. That's what they're doing, right? So I saw RJ Harvey go as low as 93 yesterday, which was a bummer because I was at pick 96. That is an example of winning on day one. The fools who think that they're showing off, like, oh, look at me, I know RJ Harvey's a good pick, I'm going to take him at pick 60. Hello, that's like where he's going to settle. Because, I don't know, it's like David Montgomery or RJ Harvey, that's a toss-up. RJ Harvey or Aaron Jones, that feels like a toss-up. Because, and I'm going to have a depth chart article out on my site, but there is a real possibility Audric Estime or Jaleel McLaughlin plays way more than anyone wants. Not to mention an end of day two pick. Like, these guys flame out sometimes. Day two doesn't feel like the time to get unique. Well, the ADPs are naturally going to change. So, yeah, you can pretty much draft an ADP and hope you're getting unique. But no, I mean, point blank period, having uniqueness, this is something I've long said. And if you've not read my free article at beatbestball.com, it's the first article about CeeDee Lamb. Don't even need to be signed up. It's all about getting unique. Like, other people, I think, are coming around to this opinion. But you would never enter, a Battle Royale or DraftKings, Millie Maker, and always pair up, Amon-Ra and CMC. You'd be like, okay, that's foolish. I would want Amon-Ra with Lad sometimes, Amon-Ra with Bucky sometimes. So getting unique always has huge value. A lot of the rookies are some of the worst picks on the board right now. And it's because, wow, a gift. If anyone caught yesterday's stream, a little Howard Dean. Yeah, guys. I mean, look, he went second overall. All the talk has been wide receiver focused. Thank God this guy's in our draft right now. It's a bummer he went like Zay Flowers, though. Like, couldn't have given me that too. I just feel forced to go wide receiver here. Actually, we'll go Metcalf. I keep on taking Metcalf. Other people feel off there. I'm operating with the assumption Aaron Rodgers will be the Steelers quarterback. In no way do I think a playoff team from last year wants to go into the year with Mason Rudolph. We have like wide receivers who went in the 4th round. Alec Ayamanor. Like, this guy is a dog to even score any fantasy points this year. Howard Dean was memeing before his cool. Hey, Howard Dean, if you're listening, man, we need some sponsors on the channel. We would love to have you. So Saquon and Bucky, 2 tried and true running backs, and then 3 wide receivers with high single week upside. That's how we like to build it. Rome Odunze, that's a no for me, fam. Anytime a team adds him and DJ Moore, they both need to go lower. DJ Moore, I have ranked roughly here, but if he falls to here, seems fair to me. Rome, I have him ranked closer to here. Calvin Ridley, yeah, he's rising a little bit with the certainty of who his quarterback is. This is the 22nd pick variation, by the way. I don't think you gave a good example here, Ross. I mean, how is Cortland Sutton being avoided when he went off his pick 53? If you're saying that he shouldn't, Travis Hunter and Tet shouldn't go ahead of Sutton, I strongly disagree. Worth pairing Daniel Jones with Richardson. Victor, this is something I'd be willing to do at a low clip. Something like, Joe Burrow, Richardson, and Daniel Jones. Josh Allen, Richardson, and Daniel Jones. Something like that. But yeah, I think you can do that. I just wouldn't want to do a lot of it. From a ranking point of view, could I use underdog rankings to help with my DraftKings best ball drafts? Kay, you could do that because they're similar. However, I have DraftKings rankings live on the site, so I think you're better off just downloading those rankings and importing them. I'll show you how to get there. I got to fix this, but you click this thing here, DraftKings ranks. They're here for you to download. Are you souring on Olave at all because of quarterback? No, not really. I still think he belongs in this range. He's a guy who went in the second round many years in a row in fantasy. I simply don't think whoever their quarterback is going to average 100 passing yards. Probably going to be closer to like 200, 220. You can get fantasy performances from that. And, I don't know what's going on with Derek Carr, but it is possible he's just the quarterback the whole year and Olave is like a mega value. Usually want to be double tapping wide receiver here because it dries up, but don't have any Sam Laporta. He's a guy who goes way higher on DraftKings. Goes at the 3-4 turn. So we'll do that. The DraftKings initial ADP, by the way, was way sharper than Underdog because DraftKings, unlike Drafters and Underdog, did not import over their pre-draft rankings. They uploaded fresh rankings. For example, RJ Harvey's launch ADP was 150 on these sites. His we'll go Mr. Shakir this time. His launch ADP on DraftKings was 100. Which Indy quarterback is the quarterback to draft? I'm when I need to do it, I'm doing Richardson. Are you taking chances on Rodgers and Carr? Only if I have to, Ant. Like if I get squeezed at the room, which I have at times on drafters drafts, especially when I have Metcalf, I'll go Rodgers and Metcalf. Carr, again, if I have to. It's I'm going to draft Carr over Russell Wilson. I'm going to draft Carr over Kirk Cousins. Derek Carr, Tyler Shuck, that's a tough one. Probably give the edge to Shuck, right? Second round rookie. You're assuming he's going to be starting later in the year. Derek Carr or Jackson Dart? Definitely Jackson Dart. Wide receiver starts to feel pretty gross in this range and down. Really, really quick, you just start staring at this. And it's okay, Romeo Doubs is worse. Quentin Johnston is worse. Deontay Johnson did sign with the Browns, by the way. So a win in the sense that I said he was worth mixing in. I thought he was going to play football. Is he a lock to make the team? Certainly not. It's probably a sign Elijah Moore is not going to be returning to the team. And he did visit with Buffalo. So How many drafts are you planning on having before schedule release? No hard number in my mind, Randall, but if I'm around 20, seems good to me. There, people were messaging me asking me where the DraftKings rankings were. What happened there is DraftKings has never dropped their contest on Monday before. They've always dropped it on Wednesday. And I know this is a surprise, but I don't just have rankings like this, right? It requires me to go in there and manually do it. Takes a lot of time. So I had to run home to my computer and make the rankings. Because you can't even just put the name, like you can't even just put the players. You need their player IDs. So you need, and on Underdog you could prepare a little bit because they gave the rankings early, but you couldn't do that on DraftKings. Yeah, and now all the wide receivers are kind of gone. Let's go our first Fields team. Why not? I still feel a little bit uneasy that he could be benched by week 17, but there's no one on the team they could bench him for. So, like, they kind of have to give him the runway. I mean, so this guy's team is weird because it has 3 quarterbacks, but at least he understands that you need wide receivers. Right? So it's like, I don't think it's good. It's definitely suboptimal, but he's at least not just like going no wide receivers as well. Let's go Warren. I'm not really convinced Warren should be going after Caleb Johnson at all, let alone a 30 pick difference between the two. I don't think that Caleb Johnson is going to be catching the ball all that much. Jaylen Warren shared the workload already, so I get it. He's the explosive one. He's the rookie. He's a 3rd-round pick. We like the landing spot, but these two should probably be closer in price. And I think it's a true like coin flip of who's going to outscore who. What do you make of Kittle's extension? Good news for Kittle, right? Doesn't really change too much for fantasy football purposes, but it's kind of, I mean, he got a contract at kind of an old age, so. Pepper Prince is Dan Zach, the World Series of Poker Player of the Year. Did some streams with him in the past. This is where I think it's quite tough to rank the wide receivers. So Jaden Higgins makes sense. A high 2nd-round pick, first wide receiver in the 2nd. Christian Kirk makes sense. Trey Harris, maybe a tad rich, but it makes sense. I get the enthusiasm. How many slow drafts you have, Cookie, right now? Thomas, the answer for me is almost always 0. Not a big slow drafter unless I have to. I personally don't like feeling like I'm always on the clock. It's like hard to unplug. You have to like set alarms, wake up at like 5 to make your picks or something. Yeah, it's not for me. Don't think I talked about this yet, but huge win for Underdog where they have instituted if you miss 2 picks in a row, you get put on auto draft. If those players are in your queue, though, so if I put these guys in my queue and then I auto a pick, that doesn't count. So queued players don't count towards auto draft, but this is just going to save you literally days of waiting time over the course of the summer if you draft a lot of teams. If you assume like 1 auto drafter per draft. So just a huge quality of life improvement. I'm tired of holding the hands of folks and assuming that they can't understand that they get autoed if they don't make their picks. You know, slow drafts too. Someone autoing a slow draft and holding the 8-hour clock hostage is terrible. Unfortunately, as Underdog did the improvement, DraftKings did not. DraftKings now, you have to miss 6 picks in a row to go on auto draft, is what it was at least in pre-draft, which is, you know, come on, look, why? Why are we doing that? But yeah, huge shout out to Underdog for doing that. I really tried hard behind the scenes to message people about this in the past and didn't really get anywhere. All right, we'll go Mr. Charbonnet. And this is a group of 4 that honestly I could just stop. I could stop at 4. I'm probably going to go 5 just because why not? Boomer question, how do you add rankings to your Underdog to your account? You know, Patrick, I spelled that out on the rankings page, but I'll also show you in a second here. Yeah, if I don't go Keon or Hollywood, I get way too far behind at wide receiver. So we're going to go Keon. Maybe I could have gone Hollywood having Shakir, but I don't mind the double bills with a rushing quarterback. Maybe we get a Bills-Jets repeat. Okay, Patrick, you go rankings, NFL. Make sure you're on the NFL 2025 season. And then you do CSV upload/download. And you upload the rankings. You got to download it from my site, assuming you're using my site. So you download my CSV, you click upload, you upload it from the download CSV. But on Underdog, they have many different. Currently, I only have the 2025 season. I don't know if I'm going to be offering some of these rankings, just because they're smaller and niche. So yeah, that's how you do that. And that will cover you for the puppies and Best Ball Mania. Yeah, this is one year I went to Vegas to play the WSOP and just like entered a bunch of slows. Don't recommend. Will it allow you to do it from your phone? No, Patrick. I think you need to go on a computer. I don't know. I don't think you can download a CSV to your phone and up. Like, I mean, I don't know. I've never done that. But yeah, I think this is going to be easier done on a desktop or laptop. Stephanie saying you cannot do it on the phone. Okay, let's talk Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams, he's probably being way overdrafted right now. I get the excitement. We look at the roster and we're like, who is even the wide receiver 2 on the team? I liked the prospect. I liked the tape from what I saw. He went in the 3rd round, though, guys. He went in the 3rd round. So he's probably going to be the wide receiver 2. But it still could be Jalen Polk. It still could be Javon Baker. Do people remember these names? How about Jack Beck? Goes at the end of the 2nd. Jack Beck is at best the wide receiver 3 or the pass catcher 3 for the Raiders. Right? He could not even be ahead of Trey Tucker. So I get it. Mystery box upside, but these guys going in the same range as Keon and Hollywood is like insane. Pass catcher 4 behind Gene T? Yeah, fair. Wow. All right. Kincaid behind Ferguson is a crazy thing. So, I mean, don't really want to have three Bills necessarily, but Keon and Kincaid are so cheap that it is fine. And this is what I'm talking about with like the wide receivers, where it's like, all right, now I just got to start pulling up some of these guys. I do need a quarterback though, so Tua makes sense with Tyreek. Yeah, we'll probably do that. I had some hope that Trevor Lawrence would make it back to me. That would have been my ideal turn, going Kincaid and Trevor. And now I just got to load up on wide receivers. Is stacking without the quarterback significantly worse if the quarterback is a dynamic runner, or does it capture the same benefit? So the quarterback is the least important part of the stack. An example is if you have Chase and T. Higgins and you don't have Joe Burrow and instead you have Justin Fields, that's fine. Right? Quarterback points are just the most replaceable. And even if Joe Burrow has a good week 17 game, which happened the year I won BBM2, right? He scored 35 points. I still won the contest because Josh Allen scored like 25 points. So I lost 10 points at quarterback, but my roster was better. So yeah, having Justin Fields and not having Josh Allen is fine because I'm capturing the Bills' passing offense, which maybe we don't want. Like maybe it's going to be James Cook, maybe it's going to be Josh Allen rushing it in. But let's assume Josh Allen has a good passing year, and I don't have Josh Allen, who's expensive. I could totally beat those Josh Allen teams with a Fields or even a Tua. So yeah, stacking without the quarterback is something I recommend. Do I like targeting division stacks pre-schedule? Yeah, definitely, right? Getting the Dolphins, the Jets, the Bills, hoping to fall into some week 17 stacks makes a lot of sense. Pre-schedule. How much does Sampson take away from Judkins? I mean, Sampson and Ford, right? So Judkins obviously should be the first running back taken, but similar to RJ Harvey, Ford and or Sampson could play a lot more than anyone wants. So it's very muddy, right? Like I wouldn't blink an eye if Ford is playing 50% of snaps for like the first 8 weeks, or playing all the passing down work. There's 3 guys there, Sampson. So hopefully they cut one or trade one, but schedule release day I think is May 16th. I recommend drafting on schedule release day. One of my teams that made the finals last year was drafted there. Obviously, it's a risk drafting now because you could, whatever, bye weeks, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I mean, I would never recommend going Josh Lamar Burrow, but this guy's team, not as crazy as you think when you see this start. It's very bad as far as like win equity, but it could advance, which some people really care about. All right. Quentin Johnston is really not my guy, but you're just kind of forced to take these types. It's not great he could lose his job to Trey Harris, probably even is likely to. It's not job Mike Williams. It's not great Mike Williams could be ahead of him. You're just hoping for some games, and he's cheap enough. And the rest of the wide receivers are looking like this pretty quick out there. Wicks too. Like I'm not worried that Wicks is probably the wide receiver 4 on paper because we've at least seen that team rotate wide receivers, right? We've seen, and he could be the 3. Wicks, Dobbs, both these guys, even though they go down in the pecking order, I still think they're going to have some weeks. How best to attract drafters? Fries, I would recommend you read my article on total points teams where I analyze top scoring teams. But yeah, it's not about beating the room. It's about, and really, best ball is never about beating the room. That's an advanced rate mentality. It's about how do you win. But yeah, I analyzed all the top scoring teams, gave you a lot of data here. And I'm going to update this with the future. I'm going to update this with this past year's data, which should be quite different. Is Najee Harris going to be a party pooper for Hampton? It's very possible, Connor. Like, Hampton's ceiling is very high, but his median projection is riskier than like Cook, Brees, Chase Brown because of Najee. I would still be taking him over like Mixon, age concerns, etc. So I'm going to stop at 2 tight ends. It's never comfortable stopping at 2 quarterbacks with Tua, but I might do it anyways. Just because I feel like I need some more shots on goal at wide receiver. Thoughts on Rich and Dimes? I take Rich on occasion. You can stack them together very rarely as well, but no one has the answers there, right? Fourth-round rookie wide receiver. This year is Troy Franklin. Very poetic that they go next to each other. Like a significantly worse pick for likelihood to provide points than Michael Wilson, than Wan'Dale Robinson. Could happen. But yeah, this is the people just drafting off ADP, they're getting slaughtered. Like Jalen Royals, a dog to score any fantasy points this year. Some of them could be huge hits, but still, they are very risky. All right, we'll get a Patriot in the room as well. Douglas, he might be competing with Kyle Williams for a slot. I'm not sure, but he's probably a starter for them. Hey, thank you for the super chat, R Pink. I'll get to that in a second here. We'll go our guy Slayton. I could go like Alan Lazard too. But Slayton, you get this number closer to some more touchdowns. Probably chuck the 5th pick on running back. Our Pink 53 says, do you allocate a specific percentage of your lineups to pre-schedule release and post-schedule release close to contest film? Congrats on your success. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Yeah, a rough formula for me for the 150 would be 50 teams in May, 50 teams in August, like post training camp, and 50 teams in the slow time of the summer. And, you know, before schedule release, specifically 10, 15 teams, and then post schedule release, the rest of the 50. But I'm not like, it needs to be this many teams, right? Like, I'm a big believer in just, you know, just do your best here. And wow, this guy loves wide receivers who are very unlikely to contribute points. Coker, Iamanor, and Dante Thornton. What draft capital did Thornton even get? Did he go in like the 6th round? Hope that answers your question, R Pink. The DJ Moore FUD is just silly. I mean, the Bears, the Bucks, all these teams, the quarterbacks are winners of the draft. But if you think DJ Moore is not impacted at all by them selecting a pass catching tight end 10th overall and then a slot wide receiver early in the second, like, I don't know. That's kind of bold. DJ Moore is a talented guy. He's going to have good fantasy weeks this year. But, you know, what if we're viewing Loveland in the same vein as Bowers a year from now? Burton is primarily a slot. We've seen the slot be dominant for Ben Johnson offenses. Thornton went in the 4th. Yeah, I mean, the 4th round, Thornton, 2nd round, Beck. Trey Tucker still exists, and he provides a role. So, I don't know, guys. Like, Isaac Tesla, yeah, that's a dart I think worth throwing. He's a 3rd-round rookie that they traded up for. Jalen Royals, I guess he has the upside, but he's a dog to even see the field. You know, yes, injuries happen in the NFL, yada, yada, but I would rather be taking guys I know are going to score points at this time of the year. Because a lot of these guys aren't even going to, like, they can't even get more expensive. We could do Sam Darnold with Charbonnet just because it's so cheap, but probably just going to have to make my bed with Fields and Tua and go running back. It feels kind of responsible. I mean, I don't know. Like, I know they went quarterback in the 3rd round. Richardson and Darnold both going undrafted, like, kind of surprising. All these guys I view pretty similar. Let's go Ford. Now let's go Roshan. Now let's go Ford. Why not? 18th round pick. Possible he's a 0. Okay, this guy's team is terrible now, by the way. Swift, Robinson, and Jadon Blue as your 4 running backs or your 3 running backs. No, dude. What's up, Connor? Shout out you. Gonna have member-only streams this year for sure. So if you want to see all of those, become a YouTube member. Let's do another. Do you have a preference in the Jags backfield? Tootin, I guess, is my preference because he's cheap and exciting and has like high, like, that's a mystery box I'm okay scratching off. ETN could be viewed as a winner or loser. I'm mixing them all. Like, these situations which are really ambiguous, I generally don't want to just take a stand and be like, yes, I am right. ETN is the guy, or Bigsby's the guy, or Tootin's the guy. Like, when I go there, which I think it's also okay just to kind of soft avoid it for now, I want to be mixing it up. Yeah, I mean, rough formula for rookies, guys, is running backs after the 4th round in the NFL draft. Be very skeptical about going hard on them. Running backs after, or wide receivers after the 3rd, and really usually after the 2nd, like, be skeptical. Woody Marks, yeah, okay, he's probably the Texans RB2. I think the Texans are just, they're not going to be as run heavy anymore. They fired their OC. They got all these wide receivers. I don't know what's going on with their O-line. Target prediction for Golden. Pass catcher 1 or 2. We'll go Mr. Nico. Are you mixing in Taj Brooks? Not yet. Not even certain he's ahead of Zach Moss, but he's definitely defensible to mix in. I think all of those guys that went round 4 plus in the draft, there's justification to mix them all in, but unless you have insider info, I don't see how you could confidently be like, yes, I want to take this guy, I want to take this guy, I want to take this guy. On average, it was an L for the rookie running back class, draft-wise. Yeah, this is another situation I want. Just mix it up. Jennings here, Pearsall here, Ayuk here. Generally an offense I want to be buying. Okay. We'll go our first Brock Bowers team. I don't really like to go Bowers, not because I don't like the talent. I like the talent a lot, but you can just get so many good tight ends cheap, and it puts you behind the 8 ball at wide receiver. Wow, Achane falling to pick 22. Crazy. I like Achane still. I mean, the Dolphins offense, they invested in the draft, right? Tried to improve the O-line, tried to improve the D-line. So they're clearly trying to run it back. On average, these wide receivers in the 3rd feel a little bit worse because Moore, a slight loser. Maybe you could say Evans is a slight loser with Ibuka. Garrett Wilson has Justin Fields. Already was a loser. Appreciate you, Brock. Hope you are as well. Yeah, I'm going to have a hard time clicking Garrett Wilson. I get the Fields connections, but I don't know. It just seems a little bit capped there. Let's do our first Josh Allen team. What kind of Bills fan am I if I don't have a single Josh Allen team? So, elite quarterback, elite tight end. Don't try this at home. Just did a draft where I said you get buried a wide receiver, and we're doing it again. So, going to attempt to not take another quarterback or tight end until the 17th and 18th. Unless it's, Geno's there, maybe I'll take him. Josh and Geno, shades of my Mahomes Geno team that won the 555 best ball one year. Yeah, I love the elite quarterbacks. Each of them could be the guy you need in the money weeks. All right, why not? Pick 40 seems like a fair range for more. I love the elite quarterbacks, but it's hard to pass on these elite skill players. I personally think this could be the year Josh Allen steals less of the rushing touchdowns. The Bills invested a lot in defense, so if they're winning games and they don't need him to steal the rushing touchdowns, I think they could maybe try to save him for later in the season. Now, maybe you can't take that out of his DNA, but that's just a little bit of my intuition. This guy clearly setting up the Mahomes stack, Worthy and Rice. Jameson, I like Jameson. There is some weird trade rumors around him. I don't know what's going on there. But as far as best ball goes, seems like a great fit. Hunter and Tet, maybe they're going to both settle in at the 3-4, if not higher for both. Like Terry McLaurin or Travis Hunter, that's a discussion to me. Tet McMillan going 8th overall, pretty nice. At the same time, though, some of these guys went 8th overall, and look how we treat them now. So it is a little bit of a what have you done for me lately? Cheap Stroud could be a quarterback for us as well. I mean, I'll put it this way, David. Travis Hunter will almost certainly be ranked higher than Terry McLaurin next year in fantasy football. Unless, Jaden Daniels takes like another step. Liam, are you Irish? Almost any Liam M? The answer is yes. A wee bit, my friend. Let's go Olave. So putting ourselves behind the 8 ball at wide receiver when you go elite quarterback and tight end, but got 3 guys I feel good about. The name Liam Murphy, a little bit Irish. I usually joke with people it's a nice Italian name. Hunter to correlate with Brian Thomas Jr. I could see that. The other thing that happens every year is once the Week 17 schedule is released, or the NFL schedule, we'll see some players move to correlate for stacks. For example, If the Bucks play the Eagles week 17, you'll see Mike Evans correlate with Saquon. And you might see Godwin correlate at the early 5th with Saquon. If the Lions play the Bengals, I don't even know if these matchups are possible, but you might see James Williams correlate with Chase. Let's go Juwan Jennings, which we're either going to look back on next year and be like, why were we taking the NFL journeyman in the 6th? Or he's going to just have a smash season again. Hunter should play defensive back first. Think you're wrong there, man. Think you're very squarely wrong. Yeah, but David, you're not viewing Travis Hunter the right way. Travis Hunter seems like he should be viewed in the same vein as Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors. Like, he's this level of a talent is what I'm hearing. So that's not Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin's a nice piece. I like that he has Jaden Daniels. But yeah. Actually, John, my account was originally named Go Bills 2020. And at the time, you could rename your account once, and I renamed it to Cheslium. So, yes. I'm team 2 quarterback almost always nuke. I don't care about bye weeks. 18-round drafts, 3 quarterbacks is just tough. You can still advance if you eat a 0 at quarterback 1 week. So, yeah, I am guess what doesn't matter if you get a team in the finals? The bye weeks, right? So, release that worry from yourself. Just let it go. Ignore it. Would you rather have 10,000 trained rats to protect you or 6 gorillas from 3 lions, 4 crocs, 17 hawks, and 4 buffalo? I think I have to go with the rats. Just because I don't think 6 gorillas is enough against the 3 lions and 4 buffalo. So I think I just have to hope that the sheer amount of Ayuk, pair of Jennings, nice. I'm just gonna have to hope that the rats could like overwhelm everything, like 1,000 rats each on the 3 lions, that's 3,000. 1,000 rats each on the 4 buffalo, that's 7,000. And then I have 3,000 rats left against the hawks and crocs. Hawks is you would think hawks are a hard counter to the rats, but as soon as like 5 rats jump on a hawk, it's not going to be able to fly anymore. So you're going to be able to down those hawks. I drafted Justin Fields and Cam Ward as my only quarterbacks yesterday, and I don't feel good at all. My friend, it's not how you feel necessarily. Let's do Luther Burden too. So we got Bears stacks, Niners stacks, and we'll see what else happens. Missed out on Shakir. How trained are we talking with the rats? But yeah, it's not how you feel, man. Like, some people wouldn't have felt good with me having Jaden Daniels and Matt Stafford as my only quarterbacks last year. That team got to the finals and nearly won the contest, right? So if Cam Ward is a success If Justin Fields is a success, you're good. And you need to kind of draft with the mindset for each individual draft, like I am drafting like I am correct. So in my case, I am drafting like Josh Allen is quarterback 1. I am drafting like Brock Bowers is tight end 1. I am good at those positions. I'm going to add depth where I see fit. I think it was quite bad by this drafter to take Caleb there to go with Rome. There's some risk that someone would have gone Caleb plus Loveland, but I have Moore and Burden on your inside. So just an attention of a drafter is not really paying attention to the full board, in my opinion. And yeah, there's a guy who could go naked Fields or naked Williams too, but yeah, I've been a Mahomes fader in the second round, but in the 8th, he feels pretty good. I agree. I like these 20-second drafts. They just go by quicker. Wow, guys. Zach Ertz in the 9th to the Jaden Daniels drafter. Is this a star method or an I know better? I don't know what's going on there. Nick is the one who's King Coast, he's saying. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, look, someone could have done it to you, but all sequel there, I think that's an example where you could push it. Let's go Swift. DeAndre Swift, RB1. His ADP is corrected. Purdy makes sense, but again, I have other quarterbacks. So I think I might pass on Purdy unless there's no one I want. Definitely would have taken Brian Robinson over Purdy. He's gone, though. So yeah, I mean, in one sense, it's not great that Deontay Johnson is signing before Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen, but I like Loveland, but we already have 2 Bears. I think we're going to go Mason here. Just think getting a adult in the running back room is going to be the best for my team. I do think Loveland is more likely to have been a closing line value winner at 112. Like, I think he's going to settle in this range. But yeah, Swift and Mason, I feel good about that duo giving me points this year. Allows me at least 2 running backs I feel okay about. Najee Harris. What is Najee's ADP at now? 82? Yeah, that's still a fade for me, big dog. Like, I mean, Aaron Jones is the starter on his team. Tony Pollard is the starter on his team. One of these things is not like the other. Wazza. Mason taking goal line work. I think that is the expectation. Aaron Jones is going to get some goal line touchdowns too, but yeah, like even in a fully healthy Aaron Jones season, 600 yards, 6 touchdowns, this seems like in the range. Wow. All right. We got to get a stack with Josh. So we'll go Kincaid because Keon's gone too. I do prefer Njoku and Kraft in a vacuum over Kincaid, but don't really want to be forced to go Josh Palmer and co. Yeah, I think Aaron Jones is a little undervalued. But I get it. He's got injury history, etc. Kraft's been falling with them having drafted Matthew Golden. But I still like Kraft plenty. I think we are going to take Stroud here. Like Ramondre is probably the value. But I prefer the Nico Stroud combo. Who this could be the year that Stroud goes for 5,000 yards. The O-line's not great, obviously. Would you max enter a $3 entry draft and only auto draft every team with your rankings as a test just to see how it works? I auto draft teams occasionally that I like steer, but my rankings generally are not meant to be autoed. There are small tweaks I would make if I was strictly trying to auto. I mean, there's a real chance Kraft year 3 is simply like an elite player. So the team, we did end up going middle round quarterback and tight end, but we passed on Ramondre, big deal. Josh Allen and Stroud, Swift and Mason, Nico Moore, Olave, Jennings, Ayuk, Burden, Bowers, Kincaid. So feel okay about my wide receiver room. And we're going to load up on running backs. Perhaps a 2-7-7-2. Ramondre pick 138. He might settle in there, but that feels like a good value to me. Yeah, I mean, Rachaad White feels. I mean, there's risk. Sean Tucker outplays him, etc. But I still think he does something that teams like, aka pass catching. And again, Bucky Irving, he's like 150 pounds. Do you think football is the worst sport to auto draft off rankings? Not something I've thought about, Hartman, but probably not. I just don't play the other sports that much. So I feel good about these 3 running backs, Swift, Mason, White. And I think here we'll just take Josh Palmer as our 7th wide receiver, get the stack with Josh. And just stop at 7. It's not comfortable because Burden, I mean, he could just be a 0. Like maybe he's just on the bench and they play 12 personnel. Ayuk, some people think he's going to be ready week 1, some don't. Maybe I'll end up with an 8, maybe a 2-6-8-2. Because I do feel good about these 3 guys giving me some weeks. This first run of rankings, Dustin, I pretty much kept most players that weren't egregiously priced at their ADP because I think these first couple days, your goal is to not draft the guys who are terrible picks and to target the guys who are mega values. But future rankings will have me getting more nitty gritty with it of like, no, this guy should be going here. This guy should be going here. Yeah, I have a hard time passing. Do you think the Bears add a running back? I mean, Tyler, it's possible, but you can only really operate with the information and logic you have at the current moment. And like in all likelihood, it's Swift and Roschon. There's a possibility J.K. Dobbins lands there. There's a possibility Nick Chubb lands there. I don't even know how much that would impact Swift in particular. Maybe it would impact Roschon a lot. Like what if Swift is Gibbs and Roschon's David Montgomery, but just like Walmart brands in the range? It's possible they trade for Travis Etienne mid-season. Like that could happen too. I don't really know. Like I'm not going to be scared off these guys because that might happen. Sam Darnold goes pick 173. He went undrafted in that draft. We're going to go Braylon. Same division as the Bills. Thoughts on Savion Williams? It's a pass for me for now, TKL. Didn't get high enough draft capital, and there's a strong likelihood he was drafted as like a kick returner. So I would be assuming he is, if you want to do it on occasion in the 18th round, okay. But I don't really see how he could be a slam dunk. Yeah, we'll go Jalen Wright too. We're getting a Jet. We're getting a Dolphin. Playing the same division as Buffalo, obviously. Jalen Wright became riskier with Ollie Gordon because Ollie Gordon does different things. But I'm prone to side with Wright currently. Yeah, I've always liked DeAndre Swift. He doesn't always hit the holes correctly or something, but the Cowboys got to sign people right for running back and wide receiver. I mean, they don't have to do anything, but yeah, they seem like a team that definitely could add someone. I don't really know how to bake that in right now, though. Austin Eckler, another winner of the draft. Like I could have, it's kind of tough passing on him for Braylon and Wright, but I think for pure upside purposes, I should be. Like if I had to list a team J.K. Dobbins should sign with, I would say the Cowboys. But doesn't mean it's going to happen. Keenan Allen too, Amari Cooper. Like, these guys make sense for Dallas, but I mean, Dallas, they're in a weird spot because they're good, but they don't really feel like Super Bowl contenders anymore. So they might be closer to like wanting to soft blow it up. Eckler too old, man. Averaged 10 points per game last year, man. They did draft a rookie in the 7th round, if that matters. But he was quite good in fantasy last year until he got hurt. So I'll be drafting some Eckler. But yeah, I get it. Not wanting to count on the olds late in the season. Yeah, we'll do the double Bears thing here. Roshan and Swift. Why not? What's your take on drafting both running backs like I just did with Swift and Roshan? You can get paid off in many ways, Isaac. You can get paid off in the sense that, so it's something I do on occasion. You can, like on this team, Swift could be the guy weeks 1 through 15, break his leg, and then it's the Roshan show. Or Swift could have a good week, then Roshan have a good week, then Swift have a good week, then Roshan have a good week. Or, Swift's awesome. Roshan takes the load. And then we'll do double Miami backups too. Gordon and Wright, Roshan and Swift. Swift's not a backup, but I think doing this type of stuff is okay on occasion too, because obviously it's not going to happen with the Dolphins, but this is how you get like a Kyron Williams some years before other people. Because you go Kyron and the guy that was being drafted ahead of him. So you don't think Chubb will sign with the Bears, or just not drafting one? I mean, I don't think Chubb signing with the Bears. It could happen. And Chubb can only sign with one team. So like some people approach it like, oh, I can't draft any team because Chubb could sign everywhere. And even if Chubb signs with the Bears, like I don't think that hurts Swift. Chubb's workout videos have looked kind of nice. I've had to force some RJ Harvey shares because people are being crazy. Jerry Jones will call Chubb. Yeah, that makes sense too. Some goodwill. All right, one more for the folks. You guys like this video? Click the subscribe button, join the Discord, and I'll do one more. But we're going to do a little bit different. If it's a higher end running back, would you like handcuffing less? I think there's some logic there, but if the backup's cheap enough, I would still do it on occasion. Harvey CEH 2.0. I mean, we'll CEH win the first, man. So That was my 13th. I need to go back and name all these. All these were drafted on opening day, and these are drafted today. If you missed it, I got DraftKings rankings on the site. Drafters will be coming this week. Let's call it a number 1 through 13 and look at that team. First number. Seems DraftKings running a promotion right now where if you draft one team, you get another. 11. Did this morning. Herbert and Dak, Chase Brown, RJ Harvey, Rashad White, Jalen Wright, Jerome Ford, Roshan Johnson, Ollie Gordon. So did the Wright and Gordon thing again. Lamb, Ladd, Hunter, Pickens, Cup, Hollywood, Cedric Tillman, Kittle, and a guy I don't draft a lot, Travis Kelce, but he fell. We'll do one more for Matt. 7, 10, 8, 9, 7. Daniels and Purdy, Bijan, Brown, Kamara, and Eckler. So only 4 running backs. And a unique group of 4. Because I don't think a lot of people are going Eckler as your 4th, but Eckler to stack with Daniels. AJ Brown, yeah, this wide receiver room is like, please God. AJ Brown, Reed, Mims, Shaheed, Tillman, Thielen, Palmer, Slayton, Mitchell. I don't know. Just need some spikes at the right time. Kittle, Hawkinson, and Kincaid. Like, I like Kittle, but then it's like this guy falls, so puts you behind. Not my favorite team. How do you compare morning time drafts compared to nighttime drafts? They can be very different for sure. Obviously, late at night, you're more likely to catch someone out over their skis. All right. Let's do our first DraftKings draft of the year. Was trying to stall time to catch an organic room, but we got no time to waste. I'm conflicted with opening day drafting. I didn't advance or do well last year on those, but I see the upside possibility. Yeah, I don't think you can really compare how you did on opening day last year to this year. Like, I would not assume, hey, I did bad on opening day last year. I'm a bad opening day drafter. I think you should just theorize why you should be drafting on those dates. And, why are we drafting on opening day? We're trying to get guys whose ADPs are going to be wildly higher later in the summer, and we're trying to build super teams. Right? So I don't really care how I did on opening day in years past. That's the mission. Trevor and Stafford, that's definitely on the line for me, Anthony, of going 2 or 3. We are at pick 11 here. I do have DraftKings rankings live on the site. Do you see similar value to drafting early or at contest open for a format like the Eliminator? Yes. It's not as valuable because that contest is very unique in the sense that it's head to head. So it doesn't really matter how much of a unique team you have, right? Like, unique teams are most valuable in total points contests because you're competing with everyone. They're secondly most valuable in contests like Ball Mania because you're less you want to have the only combos of players in your playoff pods and in the finals. And then they're not quite as valuable in the Eliminator unless you're building a super team that's simply just better than every team, which, you're trying to do. And yeah, bye weeks matter a lot more in the Eliminator. Like, you're not going to beat another team head-to-head without a quarterback. So that's one you maybe want to wait more for the schedule release. So this is going to go so much slower because it's 30-second clocks. And if someone is autoing, it's not going to put them on auto unless they miss 6 picks in a row. I really like the structure of the Eliminator this year, though. And since we have like a lot of time between our picks here, autoed first one, we can look at it. But yeah, this just seems kind of fun. Like, imagine if I wipe out 150 teams week 2. People are all like, Chess Liam, no. 200K to first. So if you reach the finals, you lock up 76K. Obviously, that's hard. Only 3 teams do that of 200,000. But you got to beat the top 50% of teams, advance out of your initial pod week 1. And then week 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All those weeks are just simply head-to-head against other people. That's a lot of fun. Like, I didn't do any Eliminators last year. I could see myself maxing. Decent price point, $10, This is a good point. 90% of teams will be eliminated before buys even start. What are your thoughts on growing best ball for all platforms? Would that lead to bigger payouts, bigger finals pools? Are you asking what I think would grow best ball? Or, I mean, best ball is growing, right? Like, this is the biggest it's ever been. Bigger payouts is kind of hard to do. Like, Underdog has told us that the size of BBM is like close to the biggest they can do. Meaning that even if there was 100 million more people, they can't run a contest that size, or it's kind of capped. So I think it would just mean more different contests. Go a little GT. DraftKings is definitely a platform that is way more running back heavy. And you can get a lot more wide receiver values cheaper in the draft, which should steer you towards taking some running backs. Now, I recognize some of these names. There's definitely some like grinders in here that are not going to be letting the wide receiver values necessarily fall, but all else equal, it is a more running back heavy platform. Quarterbacks go earlier as well. No, I definitely would not be doing that. The Gene T. Bowers combo. Yeah, I don't want to do 2 Raiders. We'll do Gene T. London. Could have gone H-An. Would have liked to go Gene T. Brian Thomas, but hey. All right, just because we can. We're in the Eliminator, 20 seconds. We can multi-table it. 7 other people if you want to get in here. I don't have rankings in here, do I? No, I don't. And I don't think I can just upload my other rankings, unfortunately. But that's fine. This will be a good test if we can get this Eliminator to fill, because I want to see how much sooner it finishes with 20-second clocks and 18-round picks. Yeah, the elite quarterbacks go too high, but so do the mid-range quarterbacks. Like Baker Mayfield goes at pick 60 sometimes. Gibbs and Achane, that's always a fun duo. Three more. Chris saying 20-second clocks, Best Ball Mania, around 28 to 36-ish minutes. So much better, man. Because I want to say 30-second clocks, no auto, was closer to like 45 minutes. Yeah, there's some random quarterbacks that fall in DK. This is my second DK one. I should be grinding these two, try to get in at least 10 or so, but it is what it is. You're welcome, Andrew. Doing the people service. Amen. Opinion on puppy versus schnauzer structures and pool sizing? We'll look for you, big man. Puppy, $5. 2 out of 12, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 375 people. Min cash, $750. So you get your money back if you max enter for reaching the finals. And you're playing for $100K. 10th place gets less than 10% of first. 5th place gets 20% of first. So very top heavy, the puppy, but that's to be expected for $5 draft. I don't know why I just did that. The schnauzer, I'll look at in a second. Appreciate you, Hartman. Killer value on Chase Brown. Marvin, I like year 2 Marvin quite a bit. We are the 11th pick. Prepare to be eliminated, folks. He's a bit of a loser with target competition, but the offense is better, so he's still going to have good weeks. Wow, Travis Hunter, pick 37. Can't go wrong. We'll go Cook, though. Cook and Ginty seems like a fun duo. The Schnauzer is a $3 20 entry max, which is nice. 100K to first. 2 out of 12, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 310 person final. So similar size. You get more than your money if you reach the finals. 100K to first. 10th is less than 10%. Fifth is 20%. So it's similar, but like I would obviously prefer the Schnauzer because it's a 20 entry max and it's yeah, we'll go with Monra, Mr. Steady Eddie. People are bored with him. I would prefer the Schnauzer because it's 20 entry max. It's cheaper. Seems like a no-brainer to max for most people looking for small buy-ins. I might even throw some in there. Sure, CMC. Need him to be Mr. Steady Eddie for us. He could rise on good health reports, but I really don't know how high he could go. Like how high would people be like maybe at the 107. But I don't think we can ignore all risk with him and just take him over these guys who have very little risk. Feels like weekly winners, people are building a lot of bad teams. Yeah, weekly winners is a totally different game. Not a contest I will be drafting in, but I get, just having a unique squad is worth a lot in that. You're just trying to bink a week. Totally, you're not trying to advance. You're not trying to win the finals. You're just trying to have the highest scoring team a single week. Yeah, weekly winners is just like, it's not really worth it to me. See, Laporta goes way higher on DraftKings. Kamara goes way higher on DraftKings. Joe Mixon going higher on DraftKings. This is part of the reason why going like Gene T and Cook feels pretty good early in the draft, because like I don't want to be reaching on these next tier guys who I like some of them, but I just don't want to be taking them there. Sure, Olave. I love people who announce themselves to the chat like this. The hoodie has arrived. Welcome, hoodie. Thank you for arriving. So in general, not huge strategy differences in the Eliminator. Guys like Chris Godwin, these types of guys, the guys who are like maybe injured. These dudes are better picks in best ball mania type contests and a little bit worse picks in these contests. Sure. DJ Moore, some division correlation. Doesn't mean a lot, but it's something. Mr. Waddle, you got out to Tyreek getting traded. Cheapest he's ever been. Tony in the building. What's up, Kadarius? Dude, we got lots of famous people that watch these. Let's go Rice this time. He's like maybe even a better pick in the Eliminator, Rice, because if he gets suspended a certain portion of the season, at least you helps you power through. Do a backflip? I can safely say I cannot. Although maybe if you put a gun to my head and made me try, maybe I could do it. Are you drafting any Tyler Shuck? Only if I have to. But I would probably draft him over Derek Carr right now. This is going so slow, actually. As I say that, picks are ripping off. Classic naked quarterback on DraftKings, Burrow and Mahomes. We're back. Brees Hall, pick 26. What forces you to choose Tyler Shuck? Yeah, you get squeezed at quarterback. That happens a lot on like DraftKings, drafters sometimes. Stacking up one offense seems a little bit risky in the Eliminator with bye weeks. You know, your teammates are like you don't. Something that's not as needed in Eliminator is stacking. Like honestly, it's a contest that I think could be auto drafted because like you don't need stacks. You just need to have the highest median. Like you need to just beat someone head to head a lot of the time. So you're just trying to score the highest median 16 weeks in a row. You're not trying to score the most points in a given week. I don't think taking Hall at 26 is crazy at all, Kay. It's a unique combo. Do I really want to be getting the double Jets unique? Probably not, but okay, now we're seeing this thing cook along. We'll go Calvin Ridley. Don't know if I want to take Jordan Addison on a Rashee Rice team. Hello, DraftKings. We are back. Michael Jordan, 23. Burrow, Mahomes, Mayfield. Ken Walker. I don't like him as much in the Eliminator because he is kind of a boom bust guy, but I like this kind of balanced start. 2 running backs, 4 wide receivers. I haven't given too much thought to the Eliminator yet, but we're doing it on the run here. So we're at round 7 in DraftKings, and we're starting round 6 on the Eliminator. We should catch the DraftKings draft something by like round 8 or 9. Yeah, I mean this was a lock, right? Sure. Jaden Reed. I don't really know what you mean. The third tier of wide receivers. Like you're just saying you have a hard time choosing between this group? Yeah, that's fair. Very flat tier. So you can see I'm just not even caring about the ADP, but if I was really trying to grind DraftKings, toggling between ADP and ranks is something I would recommend, where you can just try, like, take the highest guy I have ranked by ADP. So it's like, okay, here's the ADP, here's my ranking, that matches up. Here's the ADP, here's my ranking. Okay, we're lower on them. But it's quarterbacks. So you kind of just, like, the quarterbacks I have ranked lower, but you have to acquiesce and just take a guy I have ranked lower at quarterback sometimes, because on DraftKings, you'll just miss out on the quarterbacks if not. And I do a mix there. Sometimes I'll just ignore it and get buried at quarterback. Sometimes I'll reach on the quarterbacks. Reach. Ayuk, obviously a better selection on this, assuming he's not ready for week one. If he's ready week one, he's good selection on both contests. Pretty nice value on Aaron Jones. Loveland going way higher here. Oh, God, no. Najee, that would be a terrible auto. I would have closed the stream. George Pickens, why not? Pretty nice price on him. Pearsall, cheaper here as well. You can see Aaron Jones and Pollard going 72 and 73. They went 87 and 91 on DraftKings. Pretty rare to see running backs go higher on Underdog. Whatever. We're going to do Ayuk anyways. We can take on some risk at wide receiver here. With me having a strong 5 guys, assuming Rasheed's or something. Ayuk not back till midseason. It's possible, Christian. It's also possible he plays week one. One of the physical therapist doctored guys said he's ready week one. I don't know if that means anything, but even if he's only ready mid-season, how valuable is that if I can make it there? It's not as valuable as different contests because you just got to beat someone head to head. But if he's just a stud each week, that's really valuable, right? So round 9, we're still lagging a little bit behind the DraftKings. Makes sense. What's funny is we're picking from the 11 hole in both these drafts. Here's a time where I think you just reach on a quarterback. So it's not a reach, right? His ADP is 112. I took him at 107 to stack with Jaden Reed. But yeah, I think this is pretty prudent to do, to not get totally squeezed out at quarterback. I don't know if I'll have a lot of Cam Scatabo at pick 100. Sure. Jordan Mason, same division as Love. a solid third running back. I'm not as stressed about stacking in this eliminator. I would have liked Goff with a Monroe, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, I think Purdy having the CMC and Ayuk picks makes sense. A solid bet to give me 20 points each week. Didn't we blame Ayuk being bad early last season due to his holdout and not practicing? Now he's coming off a season-ending injury. Yeah, I mean, you could see it not working with him. But again, my approach with players who are risky but have mega upside is not to full fade them because they have mega upside, right? There's a reason why a player we are drafting at the 1-2 turn is available at the 8th round right now. Fields. Perfect second quarterback with Brock Purdy. Rushing provides a high floor, which is something you want. And that allows me to comfortably stop at 2 quarterbacks. Makes me a little bit behind the 8 ball at running back. But I think being comfortable at quarterback is worth it. And now you just hope that they don't have the same bye week. And if they do, we're dead. Are you taking much Fields this year? He is still, I mean, he's a mega winner of the draft in the sense that they could have totally taken a guy in the 2nd round, 3rd round. They did not. So he's going to be allowed to play a long leash. It's still a little bit possible he gets benched end of the season if he's bad because he's been a bad real life quarterback, right? But I don't know who they could even bench him for, you know? I think the Seahawks are a team that sharply is building for the future. Like they realize they're not good enough, and I think their head coach wants to rebuild the team in his vision, and they're slowly going about that. No. It's been $20 in the past too, by the way. Okay, Eliminator about to be in round 11. Same with DraftKings. So we're slowly catching the DraftKings one. Last year was $10. Yes, last year it was $10. Kraft with Love. No brainer. Don't really want to double up Charbonnet and Walker, but such a value, I will. So this is where it gets a little hairy. Okay, so we were saved from having to do that. Okay, we'll go Kraft. Kraft on both. Still love Kraft. Matthew Golden does not change that for me. Cam Ward goes. Wow. All right. We'll take Penix then. Got to get your quarterbacks on DraftKings early or you will get screwed. So Penix to go with London. Simply have to. We're going to go thin at running back, Kraft and Kincaid. Going to try to stop at 2 probably with those two. Purdy and Fields going to stop at 2. And then just going to add a bunch of running back darts and a couple more wide receivers. A little risky going 2 QB, 2 tight end with the bye week possibilities for the Eliminator, but also feel like you could build a winner that way. I mean, I will always stack a quarterback, even if they rush, if I can. But I'm not Fields in particular, like I don't care at all if I have him unstacked. He's easy to backstab too, Mason Taylor. Let me refill this water, folks. I'll be right back. No, 0 running back, totally viable. You don't need a top 3rd round running back. So draft, the Eliminators officially flipped the DraftKings one. But this DraftKings one's going kind of fast. There are no autoers. We did choose Penix over Tua here. Maybe a little bit of a hot take, but I think Penix has less injury risk. Uh-oh. Penix has bench risk, right? If Kirk doesn't get traded, you could definitely see, Penix playing terrible and getting benched. That's in the range. 3 quarterback, obviously easier on DraftKings, and 3 tight end, 20 rounds. Yikes, this ADP is really bad. Ray Davis. Simply have to start getting some guys in the room here that can give points. We'll go with Shad White too. Quite a value on, Hollywood is buried in the DraftKings ranks. I still like him. Any thoughts on ETR being very low on JMO? No offense to our friends at ETR, but I don't look at their rankings. I'm not really. So I think if someone is trying to be low on Jameson Williams, it's this like trade rumor speculation and the fact that he is not necessarily as consistent week to week as guys like, Devonta Smith, maybe Travis Hunter. But what I like about Jameson Williams is he can score 40 points any given week. He currently plays for the Lions, who we know are going to have a ton of dome games, are going to be one of the best teams in football. So we know JMO's very good. So unless you have information that he's going to get suspended or something, I like him plenty. Okay, so Seattle. We'll do the Ray and Cook combo here. I think that's a fun one to double up. So I like Jameson Williams. Last year I had multiple bad weather games. Yeah, definitely you should prefer dome games, but I'm not a never bad weather game person. Lions GM came out and said they've never tried to trade. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean much to me. That could be a lie. But I'm not even worried if he was to be traded. I'm worried if he's suspended or anything. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just biased by their rankers. So we have officially passed the DraftKings by quite a bit. Need to get some more tight ends on this team. Probably going to go a third quarterback. See no reason to only have 2 with Love and Penix in 20 rounds. But all the quarterbacks are gone on DraftKings, which is kind of what I'm talking like. Richardson, Dart, Rodgers, Shuck. That's what I'm staring at. And honestly, Richardson, I think he makes sense for the team I have over there. Okay. We'll go Jalen Tolbert as a 7th wide receiver. Currently the wide receiver 2 of Dallas. Seems like a good bet for some weeks. DJ Giddens. I mean, I don't even know if DJ Giddens is ahead of Khalil Herbert. I don't agree with this ADP ranking of the running backs. That's a bummer. Let's go J.K. Dobbins. Not signed, but compared to some of those other guys, once he does signed, I would say he's pretty likely to give me some weeks, if not be a real win. And if he's a 0, he's a 0. JK should land somewhere. I mean, yeah, it would be shocking if he didn't, right? He had juice. He actually kind of didn't. He had juice in like the first game, and then he clearly was inefficient, but he was good enough that I think he should be playing football. Mason Taylor. And we're going to go Algier. People are bored of Algier, but I think with Algier, I can stop at 5 running backs if I so desired. G.T. Cook, Mason, Davis, Algier. Seems like a solid 5. The G.T. Algier pairing is pretty nice because I'm trying to say G.T. is a better pick than Bijan, and Bijan fails and Algier benefits. Dart goes, so that's a little bit of a bummer. I was maybe going to take him there. So we might just have to stop it. These quarterbacks. I guess we'll go. We'll see what this guy does. Yeah, we'll go Freiermuth. Feels like a really solid second tight end in the 16th round. Two more picks in this thing. I mean, Russell Wilson is, I guess, a little bit better pick in the Eliminator because he. Oh, this guy's. Oh no, he has two quarterbacks. He's a little bit better because it doesn't matter if you get benched week 6. Yeah, I might do him. I have Freiermuth too, so I could do Rodgers. I have 2 late quarterback stacks that if I'm sniped on him, so be it. Yes, I like Tucker Kraft. Sounds thin to me, big boy. But, if this was a managed team and Gibbs and Achane were your starter, I would say you're strong. Your depth is just questionable. So the question is, am I going 6 running backs or 7? I think I'm going to stop at 6 at running back just because I do have Brandon Ayuk on this team. I do feel like wide receiver is kind of strong on this team, but like Ayuk, Rice, I probably need another guy. That's a bummer. Sure. Will Shipley. He's not a good bet for usable weeks, but we know he's super valuable if Saquon goes down. We'll go Yoshi Voss as our 8th. So that finishes our Eliminator. Birdie and Fields, CMC, Ken Walker, Ray Davis, White, Dobbins, Shipley, Amon-Ra, Moore, Rice, Ridley, Pickens, Ayuk, Tolbert, Yoshi Voss, Kraft, and Kincaid. The real question here is am I getting enough points on a weekly basis from running back? The hope is White gives you quite a bit of weeks. Dobbins actually signs somewhere and kind of like turns into a running back you're excited about, which I don't know. Ray Davis will definitely have some weeks. Shipley, just a really solid contingent value. And then, yeah, I like it ultimately. Kraft and Kincaid. Of course, a third tight end, a third quarterback. These things feel comfortable, but makes you go thinner at the skill position. So we know that 3-6-8-3 is like borderline optimal for. Wow, this guy did go Rodgers with no one. 3-6-8-3 is borderline optimal for 20 rounds. So, like, how do you want to adapt that for 18? Oh, Chigakonkwo as our third tight end. He finished strong down the stretch. Quarterback upgrade. Still very questionable wide receiver depth for the Titans. Sorry, dude. We only do that for super chats. Don't got time for that. No, this is my last draft. I usually don't even do 2 hours of drafting in a day or streaming. Okay, and we're going to go Tyler Shuck. I don't even know if he's going to start. I think we kind of have to assume it with this Derek Carr stuff, but Shuck to stack with Olave, getting some division correlation there too with Drake London. And from there, probably go one more running back, one more wide receiver. Yeah, I agree. Carr might end up having a pretty good season, but pretty hard click. I mean, he was yesterday. He said he was like giving some church sermon, and he was like, "Yeah, I have a shoulder injury." So I don't know. And the thing is like for this team, even if Shuck only is starting weeks 14 onward, I might take that, right? I might take the 0 for the rest of the weeks, but at least I have a third quarterback for the money weeks. Wouldn't say things went perfect, right? Feel a little bit light at quarterback. That's really it, though. Luke McCaffrey. That's a name I haven't heard for a long time. All right, as we wrap up here, we'll have a ranking update later this week, probably tomorrow. Gonna have drafters rankings live, and I'm hard at work on the depth chart article for all the teams just to reset and be like, these are the teams I feel good about. Here's how I view their RB2. Here's who I think their wide receiver 3 is. This team I think is ambiguous. This team I think is not. The rake back is always nice. But, I mean, there are contests that straight up overlay, so I don't know. This will probably overlay too, though. Would have liked to gotten Wicks over Shuck with me having Love, but this guy went Juwan, so it didn't and doesn't and he only has 2 quarterbacks, so I didn't know if I could risk that. We'll go Ray McLeod to stack with Penix. You know, some solid weeks he had last year. Then we'll end this bad boy with a running back. We'll go Estimate this time. All right, folks. That's what I got for you today. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, join my Discord. Link is in the description. And you can get all my rankings and more at beatbestball.com. Peace out.